Hey guys, welcome to the Something About Tuesdays podcast. I'm your host, Phebe Joi. Join me every other Tuesday for a lighthearted podcast to keep you company while you do your thing. Hey guys, welcome back to Something About Tuesdays, episode 41. I'm your host, Phebe Joi, and hi, hey, and welcome. Hey everybody! I hope you've had an amazing last couple of weeks. I have to admit, I think my last couple of weeks have been pretty good. And we're going to get right into it, but thank you guys for tuning in. I think it'll be a fun episode, if not at least a good informative one. But I'm pretty sure somewhere in my title of this episode, I'm gonna write down celebrations because I feel like the last couple of weeks and where I am currently is full of celebrations. And so we're going to jump right into that. And I hope you guys are celebrating. Um, First off, this wasn't really first on my list as far as celebrations, but it's there. And that's because we are in the month of September, whoop, whoop, which is a great month in general. I mean, it's fantastic because it's my birthday month. But also fall starts this month, which we're going to talk about that. But when it comes to birthdays, that's that's the point I'm getting at. I feel like so many people are born in September. Like there are birthdays right and left in September. And I mean, I'm sure it's like every month. I guess it's about evenly spread. I don't know. I feel like now I need to go like Google it really quick just to see like which month has the most birthdays. Because I tell you what, I think September would be up there, if not like the number one month. Um, but so September brings lots of celebrations. First off, it brings fall. You guys, we're not in fall yet, but I didn't share it last time. Last episode was actually the first September episode, and I didn't mention it. I talked about other things, or at least didn't go into it. But now, you guys, we're getting closer and closer to fall. That being said, the weather here is still pretty hot. It's like upper 80s, y'all. It's ugh, okay. Let's just say ugh. But I'm getting excited about fall, the start of September. Today, I was driving home from work. I'm recording this actually Monday before it comes out. But I was driving on my way home from work, and I tell you what, the golden rays were there, and they've been here probably like the last couple of weeks at least. And tell me you know what you mean by the golden rays. It's like when you're driving, it's like the sun when it gets towards fall and it starts to set a little bit, it feels golden. And I don't know if that's because of the way it reflects off the trees. And the trees, they're green, but they're starting to change colors and turn yellow. But it just feels just golden and warm. And I love it. And right now it's like hot, so hot. So it's hard to really enjoy because you kind of need that cool breeze and the golden sky. But I'm at least getting the golden sky, which means that fall is coming. It may be taking its sweet time. It may be teasing us, but it is coming. And so I'm excited about that. I've noticed that people have started decorating. I am obviously not the only person excited. In fact, if I think about it, I'm probably the least excited to compare to, some people. There are like in my parents' neighborhood, people who have already thrown up their decorations for fall. My mom has started already. I intend to. This year I was like, you know what? I think I do want to decorate for fall early. I think last year I waited until the actual maybe first day of fall. I was like, I don't want to rush it. I feel like anyway, I can't remember. But this year I was like, you know what? Beginning of September, I'm really feeling it. But it's hard to get motivated to do so when it is so hot outside. But we did have a couple of good fall days, which I totally did feel like decorating for fall on those fall days, but it was just 2 days and I did other fall-like things on those days. So I still need to decorate. I do. But I'm so ready for it. I'm ready to bring out the oranges. I already had yellow. You guys remember talking about that yellow chair I got? I can't wait to figure out how to incorporate that with my fall. I'm going to try to I definitely do orange every year, kind of like oranges and reds, but now I want to definitely pull in that golden yellow and try to do some oranges, golds, yellows, kind of leafy type stuff. Like that's kind of like the way I'm heading. And y'all, I need to get on this decor though because I haven't been decor shopping at least for fall in a little bit, obviously since last year at least, but I went into the store. I had a coupon for my birthday. So I was like, let me pop into Kirkland's. And y'all know I talked about Kirkland's last time. Like, Kirkland's is one of those where, I mean, you walk in whatever season that they are decorating for or trying to get ready for. It's, I mean, you walk in and you feel it. You smell it because they have the different smells. When I walked in, it was so cozy smelling, so warm. They had their fall things out. They had the blankets and the pillows and the decor and the paintings and all the like potpourri stuff. And I just loved it. And I was like, I want this. But their fall stuff was like already on sale. Like that's how late I am to the game. Like, I'm already behind. Like, they're like 30 to 50% off fall decor. Like, oh my goodness, because they're getting ready for Christmas and winter. And y'all, I'm not there yet. But like, I'm already behind. So I hope that possibly this weekend, that's I think my goal, because this weekend I do think, let's see, what is this weekend? 21st, 22nd? Yeah, it is officially fall. So I should get my fall things out, because I am ready to feel it. But y'all, where we are, it's still going to be like high 80s, mid to high 80s, I believe, maybe low 80s for at least the next 2 weeks. And that just, I mean, that puts a damper on fall. I don't know how those who don't live in a place that has all the seasons can just can just stay hot. Like, I'm like, no, I don't need all the hotness. In fact, my podcast I was listening to, they were talking about one guy had a hot take, and he was like, he would prefer to have summer all year long than to have the seasons. And I was like, no, 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 I gotta have my seasons. And I used to actually feel like I got um a pretty good taste of all the seasons. But I would say probably the last 5, 10 years even, I winter hasn't been the same because it hasn't been like crazy snow, and that's what I need for have to have a good winter. Fall has been beautiful. This summer lasted forever. Spring actually lasted a while this year, and that was amazing because it was fantastic weather for a long time. So I'm hoping that maybe, once we get to fall will last a while, and then winter will come in hot and will come in cold, I should say, come in cold and just freeze us bone cold, and then warm us back up. So anyway, fall, you guys, it's coming. It doesn't feel like it, but maybe where you are, it does. I'm still excited about it anyway. To me, that is a celebration. I absolutely love fall. It is, I do believe, my favorite season ish. I don't know. I love all the seasons, you guys. It's hard to pick one, but I am excited about that. And one of the things, so I mentioned that it's fall, well, not fall, well, there was a couple of days where it felt fall like. And on both of those days, I was able to do something that felt fall ish. And one of those was I got to hang out with some church people spontaneously. We did a cookout outside of our church, and that was pretty fun. And I have to say, it was. It was spontaneous. And by that, I mean, I didn't know that it was something that was happening until the day before, even kind of the day of it was happening. I saw a post on Facebook the day before, and I was like, what's he referencing? It was this guy in our church. And then the next day, my friend texted me and she was like, hey, are you going to that? And I was like, I saw that, but I didn't know much about it. What is it? And it ended up just being a very casual, we'll have food, but feel free to bring your own cookout. And it ended up being just wonderful. It was something that I needed. It was something I mentally needed, maybe not physically, because y'all, as much as I loved that cool weather, this was when it was like low 70s, low to mid 70s, so it totally felt amazing. But y'all, it did its work on me, and yeah, just know that it did its work on me. But that's not the point of this story. The point is that I got to hang out with some church people, and it felt spontaneous, and it was just what I needed mentally. Because sometimes it's good to plan things. Y'all know I love to plan. I love to plan times with people. You got to be intentional, right? But I also love the things that you don't plan. It's the unexpected. And sometimes the benefit of that is because you don't have much expectation, it usually ends up being a better experience than you would have thought, because you weren't really expecting much anyway. You didn't have time to think it through and think about how it should be or could be or how you want it to go, because it was one of those, hey, are we doing this today? Yeah, I guess we're doing it today. And then you just go, and it ended up being so much fun. And I loved it because, well, one, I'm hanging out with, some church buddies. It's always good to hang around people who, are good hearted and like minded and things like that. And that was awesome. But then it was great because I got to hang around not just people my age, but a variety of people. There was people my age, there were people younger than me, and there were people older than me. And in fact, and which is great because usually, if you go to a church, then obviously there's a variety of people there. In fact, I think church is the one place where you will find the well, I would say the greatest diversity of people. Somewhat. Actually, I do think churches are still the most segregated places in America. But I mean it in the sense of different backgrounds, different interests, different places in life, different jobs, different ages in an area where everybody's kind of interacting together, right? Like it's hard to think of another type of social thing or society thing or cultural community thing where you have all the ages represented. Hopefully, all the it would be great if you had like all the different races and ethnicities represented at your church, male, female, whatever, and you're all together doing something collectively, right? That's amazing and that's just something the church offers. Like I said, I can't think of anything else. Maybe there's something else in the community where there's something similar, but that's just the power of the church. It's so cool. So, which is great because then you get a different perspective on things, right? If you're around different people. And so this last event, I was able to hang around one of the ladies in our church who I love and adore. Like we talk together, but this time we actually was able to have quite a lengthy conversation, probably about 20 or 30 minutes, just about life and about, where we wanted to travel and where she had traveled and where I had traveled and the ways that we were similar and how we like to travel and ways that we were different. And then we were just talking about different life things. And it was so cool to connect with someone who, I mean, she was older than me, she's old enough to be my mom, like that's where we were. But we were just talking as friends and as, people in the same community in the same church where we don't often get a chance to talk necessarily outside of the services. We have our own kind of regular crew that we would talk to and things like that. But we were able to talk at this gathering, and that was cool and it was comforting. And then, of course, my one of my besties was there, so I got to hang out with her and talk with her. And so it was spontaneous hangout with the bestie. And then just like I said, being around just like-minded, good people, good-hearted people. There are people there who are relatively new to our church in the last few months. So getting to, know them a little more, see them in a more casual setting. It was just a great thing. And so it felt very fall-like. It felt like a fall activity to do the cookout and to hang out with, other people and to relax in that beautiful weather because it was amazing weather. um, Other than it did get a little cold in the shade. So I did try to sit into this in the sun, but it did get a little cold in the shade. And I'll admit to you that night, because after that, so I after we were there, I was like, "Hey, bestie, she has been in her house for about a year, but she and her husband have been working hard to like make more changes and add to their house. I mean, they had a brand new house, but just adding more. And I knew they had added more to their backyard and to the back deck and everything, and things that I would like to try to encourage my husband to do to ours. So I was like, hey." Can we come over your house? Can I show Hubs, your backyard just to see what you've done? Maybe he'll get inspired. And so we did after that go over their house and hang out there and got to see the backyard and everything. And hopefully husband got inspired. I don't know if he has. He hasn't said anything, but we got to hang out with them. And so we were still outside and it was beautiful, but it was starting to get a little cooler again. And so by the time I did get home, I was like, huh. Because I had a feeling. I was like, my throat is a little ticklish. And I think I had to sing the next morning for church, but I was like, it's not too bad. Like it's a little ticklish, but it's not terrible, right? Like I think it should be good. It should be good. And so I sang at church and everything went well. But it just so happened that day, that Sunday, so that was a Saturday that we did the cookout and we hung out. But that Sunday, my husband had asked earlier in the week, hey, since it's going to be such cool weather, let's go to this farm nearby. It's a famous farm called Huber's Farm that, famous for like our area, where you go to get food. And I think I talked about it last year. You hang out, you walk around the lake, you just do the fallish type things. We didn't pick pumpkins or anything like that, but I think we could have. It might have come later in the season, but He was like, let's do that. Since we have this fall day, let's just go ahead and do that for the season. And so we're like, okay. So after church, we, go, we change, we head up there. It's like an hour away, roughly. And we go with my family and we eat the yummy, yummy food. Fried chicken was excellent as always. They did not have their Waldorf salad, I think. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it last year. It's like the apple, what is in it? Apple? I can't even think. Now I'm like, I know apple is in it, but apple and maybe grapes, I think. Salad with like this sweet kind of sauce, a creamy thing, mayo type sauce. I don't know. Point is, excellent. So this year when we asked for the seasonal salad, apparently they weren't serving that quite yet. And so we got this cucumber tomato salad, which all of us were like, no. But my mom, she was like, oh yeah, because she likes cucumbers. So she got to enjoy that salad, but we got to enjoy the rest and it was pretty good. So we did that. But after we did that, we went outside, right? So here I am getting more outside time, which is good, but I'm in that air and, that I don't know if it's the pollen. I don't know what it is. You guys know how I get with allergies. Um, so we go outside, we take some pictures outside, my husband and I, um, special pictures, which I'll share in just a minute. And we did a couple of those pictures. We walked around the lake with the family. We explored. We actually did a corn maze this time, courtesy of my husband. It was his idea. He saw it and was like, hey, let's go through that. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, especially since the entrance did not look that wide. It was like a human's width wide. And I was like, I don't know. So we did go through the corn maze a little bit. And then after a while, we were like, okay, let's just get out of here. And we found a path out that we don't think was the right path out, but we're assuming that other people like us were like, let's just go straight line. We're just going straight out. So we did go straight out of the corn maze. So that was fun. So we made it through there. And then, like I said, we walked around, we finished walking, we went into the little store, we took some more pictures, and then we were heading home. Well, on the way home, I was like, oh, I really don't feel well. Like my throat is even worse. My nose is getting kind of clogged. And I was like, Hubs, because he had the windows down, which beautiful weather again. It was cool. I was like, we might need to roll up the windows because I think I'm going to get sick. And so we rolled up those windows, but y'all, that didn't help me. It was too late by then. 2 days of lovely fall weather after straight up heat. I think like seriously, the day before was like 87, 90, and then went down to like 73. Weird how weather does that. And as much as I loved it, my body said, we don't know what this is. How do we react and respond to this? And so it decided to just get sick. And so all last week, because this was not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, I have been battling this cough. I've had this terrible cough. I mean, it's like a dry, just in my chest cough. And it's been miserable. It's the kind that like you cough throughout the day, kind of like here and there, like, I gotta be careful or I'll start coughing. But then all it takes is one tickle and you are just coughing your little head off. Like you are just like hacking, like people think you're dying, like, cause you're just for like 2 minutes straight. So it was one of those. And then also when you go to bed, you just cough all night long. So that's been me for the last week. And that part has been quite miserable, especially considering my birthday was this past weekend. And I was still coughing and feeling a little miserable on my birthday. But like I said, those 2 fall days, they were beautiful fall days, even though I am still paying for them now. Even now, my voice it's definitely recovering. But it still feels very dry and raw. Like I can tell that it's very dry and raw. It doesn't know what to do. Or maybe I should say I don't know what to do. I've been trying to drink teas because I love my teas. And I did down some honey because honey is supposed to help soothe your throat. So I did do that, but that made me a little queasy because I just kind of spooned it straight. I don't know if you're supposed to do it with honey. I don't think you cannot do that with honey. Like I don't think it's a bad thing. But next time I might try to just put it in my tea instead of just taking a spoonful of it and doing that. I also, you guys, this is kind of look, okay, not only did I do the spoonful of honey, and you're like, no wonder you got queasy, but I also took the bottle and just squeezed it like down my throat. I was just like, "Wah," and just squeezed it, hoping that would help. I don't know that it helped. I don't know that it hurt my throat, other than made my tummy feel a little queasy. But anywho, so I am recovering. I'm on the road to recovery, but I do think I might need to take it a little slower jumping into these fall days. So maybe it's a good thing that it's kind of slowly arriving, but I can't wait. I am very excited about fall coming, and that's my celebration for fall. Oh, and I did want to throw in there because in this last week, kind of week and a half where I felt sick, um, I've been able to do other fall things like I put on my first hoodie of the I wouldn't say of the season, maybe of the season because it's kind of started, but I wore a hoodie one day when I was feeling a little ill in this past week, and I have had three different types of soups in the last week, even though chili doesn't really count as a soup. So, but three different types of cozy food, I would say. And so when I was not feeling well, I made this broccoli and cheddar soup, and I say I made because I had fresh broccoli that my husband had bought, and I chopped up the broccoli all like on my own and just chopped it up. I kind of sauteed it and softened it and cooked it a little bit. And then I took a bag of soup. I did not make the soup handmade or homemade, but I took the bag of soup, but I added my freshly chopped broccoli in there to kind of give it a little more oomph, a little more substance. So I felt very proud of that, and I made that. Took me a few days to get through that, but I still wanted some soup. And so I had got what was my next one? Oh, potato soup. Yes. So for my potato soup, I did the same thing. I peeled some potatoes, boiled them a little bit, softened them up, and then added them to the bag mix to make it a little more hearty. This one I don't think I did as well because I didn't stir the bag mix. I didn't whisk it quick enough before it started getting a little clumpy. So it tasted a little powdery, but it wasn't bad. And then I had chili that I didn't make, but my mom had made. And I was like, hey, Ma, I was going to come over to her house. Um, and I was like, you got any food? And she's like, I got some chili. And I was like, oh, I'll totally take some chili because I love my mom's chili. She makes it so meaty and hearty, no noodles, as there shouldn't be. And it's so good. And so I had some chili. And I have to say, you guys, with all three of those sandwiches on different days in the last week and a half to 2 weeks, I had grilled cheese at least one time for a meal with those soups. Because y'all, grilled cheese is the best when it with soups. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's just grilled cheeses are excellent on their own, but with soup, it's just amazing. And I'm trying to think, like, I don't know what other sides like grilled cheese would be good with. I'm just not sure. Like what else do we eat with grilled cheese sandwiches? I don't know. But I did see an ad or a reel or some type of post or whatever that somebody made like a grilled cheese, like a grilled ham and cheese sandwich. Now, I'm not much of a ham person, but I was like, that sounds kind of interesting. And I saw one that it was like cheese and tomatoes, I believe. And so I was like, that sounds pretty good too. And anyway, so I did have those grilled cheese sandwiches with those soups. So that made me feel like, okay, fall, let's get to going. It's too hot now to think about that. In fact, we just had some homemade ice cream yesterday that we had from the cookout like a week ago. We had some extra. One of our guys at church made it, and it was so good. It was like this banana, like banana flavor type ice cream, but it didn't taste like the banana wasn't too strong, right? It tasted like vanilla, but with a hint of banana. It was excellent. In fact, you guys, I'm talking about it now and I'm like, that sounds so good. It sounds like it would just soothe my throat. So maybe after I record this, I'll go reward myself with some banana ice cream. But anyway, so that's part of my celebrations. It's part of what I am excited about. I'm excited about fall. I'm excited that it's September. I'm so happy that it's September because great things happen. For one, so the last episode, I think I left it right before my husband and I were going to the lake house, or not our lake house. No, we were going to the lake, and we had just bought an Airbnb, like on like a lake house, I would say. It was a small little cottage type thing, but we decided to go there over what was it? Labor Day weekend. Yes. So Labor Day weekend, we decided to go to the lake, and it was awesome. And I remember last episode I talked about procrastinating, and I think I recorded on a Thursday, and we were leaving Saturday, I think, and I was talking about how I would probably pack my things Friday night. Y'all, Saturday morning, okay, like, because I knew we were only staying like Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And so and I knew we weren't leaving super early on Saturday because we were just going to drive there. It was only like a couple hours away. So I knew we weren't going to get there before check-in. And so I was like, I got time. And so literally, you guys, Saturday morning is when I decided to start packing and doing my thing. So I procrastinated till the very end. But obviously it still worked out and it was great. But when I got there, a couple of the things that stood out to me that I wrote down that I was like, oh, okay. One is there, and this is so random, but I really liked the bathroom that they had. Not the bathroom itself, but the fact that it was a bathroom that had two entrances, right? Like you've seen those, and not just like two entrances into two bedrooms. That's kind of like a Jack and Jill, I think, style. But it was one entrance would take you to one of the bedrooms, and the other entrance would take you to the kitchen. And I do not know why, but I loved that on this trip. I even told my husband, I was like, oh, this bathroom is so cool. Like, I love the fact that I can choose, do I want to go into the kitchen and open to the other part, or do I want to go back into the bedroom and stay more private? What do I want to do? I just like that choice. Now, I don't think I could, like, I would want my house to have that per se. I don't know that I would want to like live that way, but for the trip, I totally loved, I totally loved it. I thought that was just really nifty. And I hadn't seen it, if not in a long time, if ever. Like I knew they existed, but I haven't had to experience it. Um, Honestly, I don't know when, if I ever have. And so I totally was getting a kick out of that. It was fun, like making that choice, like which way do I want to go? How do I want to go in? How do I want to go out? So yes, I enjoyed that. But the other thing that stood out to me was just two instances of wildlife that was just fun. And one was the back porch. So the whole house is kind of, it's facing the lake. And so the front part of the house is kind of more blocked off, which is good because there's other houses around. So it gives you a bit of that privacy, but the whole back is like this big open window and the screened in back porch that, spans across the entire house, and it looks into the lake, into the woods and the forest and things. So the view itself is already beautiful and stunning. And it ended up raining that weekend, which I was so excited. You would think, no, you got rained out your lake weekend. No, 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 you guys. Y'all know I love the rain, especially with the screened in porch. And if you know me, I'm in the lake. I don't need, like, I can just look at the lake. I don't got to be in the lake. We did go into the lake. My husband did go. We went together, and he went swimming in the lake, and I let it, get up to about my thigh maybe, before I was like, no, I'm done, because I felt a fish. I felt something. We're going to call it a fish, but I felt something against my little leg, and I was like, no. And that's why I can't do legs, y'all. um, and because I don't want the feel of things that I can't see just brushing past me. But anywho, so we had that. So we had a beautiful view. But on that back deck, the people who, rented the house had like a bird feeder. And so for hummingbirds. And so throughout the weekend, we got lots of visits from little hummingbirds, which hummingbirds sound scary because they're buzzing and you think, it's a bee or something, but it ends up being the hummingbird. But they're cute to watch because of the way they kind of like flitter around. And so we really enjoyed seeing the hummingbirds. And actually, what's kind of cool was, because I don't know exactly where they are, like how do you get them? But when I went to my back porch sometime this last week, I noticed a hummingbird. I was like, do we have hummingbirds near us? So now I have to be like, okay, I think I want to get a hummingbird feeder thing and see if we can keep them coming. Like, I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. Like, I don't know if they're good or bad for things. Like, I don't know if they eat insects. That would be amazing if they do, because I do not like insects. But I do like, they were kind of fun to look at. I don't know why, because I'm definitely not a bird watcher person by any means. But I can't say that because there have been a couple birds I've looked at in my back porch that have fascinated me. But I don't know. I thought that was really cute. So I liked seeing them. And then the other wildlife we actually saw this little thing twice. I think it was the same one. It may not have been, but we saw a fox. And I haven't seen a fox probably in a couple years at least. I saw one. I think last year I may have mentioned that I saw one. But I saw a fox, and it was just your orange little fox. Like, it kind of looked like the movies. The only difference was it did not have a big bushy tail. It had the tail, but it didn't look bushy. In fact, this fox looked a little scraggly. I was like, he's kind of skinny. Like, I don't know. Like, is that normally what they look like? Which it probably is, because the fox I'm thinking of are foxes that, I see in like cartoons, big bushy tail. sleek bodies or whatever. But we did see this fox and he looked a little scraggly. And like I said, I think we saw him twice going up the road. And he ran across the car both times, but I thought that was pretty nifty because that's just not an animal that I see very often. Um, so I liked that. So we had a fantastic little getaway. And that was the point. Husband and I, this past summer, you guys know, usually we travel. I say usually, maybe you don't know that. Usually we do try to travel around our anniversary. Last year we did our UK trip, but this year we did not. We did not travel together. We were focused on some other things, which I will share here in a second. And so this time, we decided to do just a small little, like, just a quick getaway because I was like, Hubs, I was like, I miss our little getaway. I missed our little trip. We got to get something. I just want you and me. And so we decided to do that and just get away for the weekend. And it was wonderful. It was great. And while we were there, it did feel fall-ish because of the rain. So it was still warm, but the rain helped cool it down some. So we had kind of two back-to-back weekends of nice kind of fallish weather with like heat waves thrown in between, right? So anywho, so celebrating, Labor Day weekend, that was fantastic. Of course, my birthday, September brings my birthday. So my birthday was this past weekend. I was sick. Like I said, you can still hear it a little bit in my voice. So I was coughing a lot and therefore not very, very motivated to do a lot of things. But husband and I was like, okay, I think I want to go out to eat. And he was like, okay, wherever you want to go, just let me know. And he kept asking. I was like, I don't know. I don't have a taste for anything. You guys know sometimes when you're under the weather, you just like you don't have a taste for much. You can eat anything, but you don't have a taste for hardly anything at the same time. And so I was thinking about doing Indian food because Indian food's always good and that's a go-to. But then he had the perfect suggestion. He was like, hey, you want to get some Thai? And I was like, you know what? I haven't had Thai in a long time. Yes, let's get some Thai. So we got some Thai by the house where I had some fantastic yellow curry. Y'all, I don't know what it is about curry, but I love it. Like I love Indian curry. I love Thai curry. Curry, I don't know what it is. There's something about the flavor I just really enjoy. And honestly, you guys, I've thought about like exploring how to cook it because I feel like, man, I'll never be able to make it like the restaurants, I don't think. Like my husband, he makes a red curry, which is good, but it's definitely different than like any of our restaurant kind. I mean, way too spicy for me, but I would like to kind of figure out how to make a curry. Indian curry would be probably my top though. Like I would definitely want to make some Indian curry first and then, expand to maybe some Thai curry or things like that. But the Thai food was really good. We got that. It was excellent. And we were able to celebrate that way. And that was fun. And then my husband, his birthday's coming up. So we're going to continue to celebrate. I'm telling you, the month of September is so much fun and full of celebrations. And so the last celebration that I want to share with you guys is actually a pretty big one. You may have caught on to it. You may have heard my hints of how I've been tired a lot here and there. You may have heard about my increased interest in food lately. And that is because, you guys, I'm going to have a baby. Woo! I am excited. My husband and I are very excited that I'm going to have a baby. This has been a long time coming, I would say. In fact, there's a whole story behind it, a whole journey that goes with it. Um, and that is, I kind of hinted at it last episode when I was kind of talking about, you know, if like about perhaps doing an additional segment of some kind, because my husband and I, we've been trying to have a child for 7 years, and just let's just say it's been a journey. It's quite the story, and so it's something that I think I would want to share. Because I feel pretty open about it. I know I was actually listening to a different podcast that was talking about testimonies, and they were saying how it's important for us to give our testimonies. That sometimes we go through things and we make it through things, but then we sit on it, and when we could really touch lives or bless people with our testimonies. And I like the way that the lady put it. She said, it's kind of like when you give your testimony, you're giving a survival guide to that story. Like you're telling somebody, okay, this is how I made it through this, or this is what helped, what worked, what advice, this is what I can say, this is how I can empathize, sympathize, comfort. This is what I've got for this. And that's something that I think that I would want to give. That's something that I think with this last 7 years of a story that I think I would want to share. And I would make it a separate thing because I know it's a very kind of niche topic. Because it is about, fertility or the lack thereof, trying to have children, trying to grow a family, and all that entails. And because this episode, like these episodes, these are my lighthearted, just keeping you company, life, fun things. We try to keep it light, right? We're not trying to bring anybody down. But that doesn't mean that life is always lighthearted, right? A lot of times it can be heavy hearted. And I've hinted at before, I think I had my very first Mother's Day episode. I was like, okay, guys, I got to share some things a little bit. Skip through if you don't, if you don't need this. So I think I will probably create separate episodes to kind of talk about those things. I'm not sure what I'm going to call them yet. I'm not even sure what exactly I'm going to share. I do know that I have a lot of things I've written. As y'all know me, I like to, as much as I like to talk, I also like to write. And so, just like I've said that I want my writings to be artifacts in the future that people can read and learn about today and all that stuff, they're also kind of just artifacts for me. They're things for me to remember and for me to share. Um, that I think I do want to share some of those writings. And I already know, like, there's one I'm thinking about sharing, you guys. It's called An Open Letter to the People in the Middle. And that's just what I titled it when I wrote it. I wrote it about 3 years ago, I think. And it's so it's lengthy and it goes into a lot and it just has so much emotion in it. And not all great emotion, you guys. I was in the middle of something. And so but real and genuine. And that's so much of who I want to be in this podcast. So you guys definitely get the real me when you get the lighthearted me, because you gotta look at the good, right? But there's also those deeper things, those kind of heavier things that are just as genuine and can be just as, I think, can be said in a way that can still be encouraging. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. I don't know exactly when those will come out. And I say those because I have a feeling they're going to be more than one when you have 7 years of interesting things. And I'm not trying to highlight 7 years. I'm just saying that when you have an expanse of time where so much has happened or your thought process has changed in a lot of ways or things like that, it might be kind of tough to get it all out in like one episode. So there might be quite a few bonus episodes, maybe a series, like a side series that I attach to these. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I don't know exactly when they will come. I don't know quite how they will look or sound. But I do think I am going to share it, and I will kind of use this platform in a way to at least get it partially out there. So yeah, so I'm very excited to share that with you guys. I'm very excited though to share the fact that I am having a baby, which means you guys might be getting some fun pregnant lady stories. Okay, like I will not make this podcast all about me being pregnant, right? That's not, that's not exactly what you're here for. But being that I'm just that friend there keeping you company, now instead of just a, 30 something, black female friend just sitting there chatting your ear off, you're going to get a 30 something black female pregnant friend chatting your little ear off, telling you about the food that she's been interested in, which has been all food. I have not had an aversion to anything, I don't think. I think the closest thing I've gotten to has been onions, and I love onions, and I love cook onions. And when I eat them, I enjoy them, but it's the after I eat them that like smell of onion stays in my mouth and it makes me so nauseous. Right? Like so the onion part is very iffy if I can do that. But aside from that, y'all, I have not had an aversion to hardly any food. And in fact, I have been enjoying so much food lately. It has been hilariously ridiculous. I joke that right now I'm just now entering my second trimester. And I mean, y'all, I look like I'm at least mid second trimester. Like I look like I should be about, I don't know, 6 more weeks further along than what I actually am. But I blame that on the fact that my whole first trimester, I lived in a state of nausea like just state of nausea. And it seemed like the only thing that would make it better would be to eat something. And so I would just eat and I would eat what was there. And I tried to eat healthy things, which I did. I would eat like an orange and an apple, but then I'd also go eat a bag of chips and a sandwich, not with deli meat, a pepperoni sandwich actually. Um, Hot and spicy things actually haven't been too bad. I've been craving those. I've been liking those heavy flavors. Like light flavored stuff hasn't like if it doesn't have a strong flavor, I actually haven't wanted it as much. And y'all get this. Y'all know how much I love cookies and things. Honestly, like the sweets and stuff hasn't been high on my radar. That is so strange to me. I've been craving the salty and the spicy and the sour. And honestly, the sweet has been like just barely there. Like I can take it or leave it, which is so rare for me. Usually I'm like always take it, take it, take it. But you guys remember I talked about I think I got some cookies at the state fair back in August. And when I say I had those cookies for like from Bay's Bakery, like the thick stuffed cookies, like these are massive cookies that are probably 1,000 calories each. It took me probably a month and a half to eat them all. And I think I still had to throw like half of one away by the end of it because I just wasn't craving it. I know. But that's not saying I haven't eaten sweets. Trust me, I still found a way. But that's probably the only kind of food thing I've had that I have enjoyed food a lot lately. Even though my sweet craving has decreased, but my salty and my spicy and my sour has increased. So that's just a thing. And then the fatigue. Y'all, and I said I wouldn't make this a pregnancy podcast, and I'm not going to. Again, just, tune me on in the background. Do what you gotta do. But the fatigue ain't no joke. Okay. Like I had heard about it. Like I had friends say when they were pregnant, they were tired. But y'all, I'm trying to say, like, when I say my energy is zapped. Y'all know me. I'm a go getter. I like to do things. I like to go to the gym. Y'all, I haven't been in like 3 and 4 months. I've been probably at least in the last 2 months. I think I went once and almost wore myself out. Anyway, but I haven't been in the gym in a while. I haven't been like going out and do things. I haven't gone to my little coffee shops to sit down and read and chillax. Like, y'all, I've just been too tired. I've been like, I can't do this. I don't have time. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I need a nap. And so that thing's been real. But I have been given hope. There are other people around me who are pregnant, who are further along, and they're like, you know what? We felt that in the first trimester. By second trimester, we were feeling a little bit better. So there is hope. There's hope that I'll get my energy back, hope that the nausea will go away. So I'm waiting for that. Maybe by the next episode, when a couple weeks have passed, I'll be like, you guys, I feel like a new woman, we will see. Hopefully then I'll be over this sickness. So maybe it'll all just be better in the next couple weeks. That would be amazing. So anyway, you guys, so yes, that's the big thing that I wanted to share with y'all. I'm so excited about it. And it's a cool thing. It's a really cool thing. This will be my first biological child, that I will, be giving birth to. It's not the first time I've been pregnant, but that's, for another time. But this will be my first biological baby. Of course, I've got my child, my lovely stepchild, who's just as excited as we are. But I'm very excited, and I'm excited to share this with you guys and take y'all along on that journey. But I thought one more thing with that. I was ready to move on, and then I looked at my notes and I saw this and I laughed. And that was that. So y'all know, like I said, I've been eating a lot and enjoying food and doing all the things that early pregnancy women do. And one of the things I've noticed is obviously as my body gets bigger, my face is getting rounder. And I love it when people, and because I just announced that I put it on my Facebook, I just let everybody know. And so people are going around, you have those who are like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Love that. Thank you. Thank you for not noticing, that I've packed on a few pounds and things. But then you have those who are like, I had a feeling. And you're like, I wonder what that feeling was. I'm like, is that feeling because my face has gotten rounder? And I did throw out to one person, she was like, I think I had a clue. And I was like, just joking. It's because my face was round. Yeah. And she was like, well, it was in your face. I was like, wait a minute. And I'm sure she meant like my face was glowing. But I was like, you're agreeing that my face is round. And in fact, I probably had 2 or 3 people, maybe even 4 that I can name, who have commented on the lovely fullness of my face. Y'all, it's just part of it. It's so funny. I was like, oh my goodness, y'all can tell just because you see this drastic change in me. It's not that drastic, y'all, but it will be here. Just give it a couple weeks. So anyway, I just thought that was funny that sometimes You can tell, not because I have this lovely glow, but because this lovely face of mine has filled out just a little bit, and that's okay. Like I said, that's part of it. So anywho, so yeah, so that's me. I'm gonna have my baby. I'll keep y'all posted with that. But moving on to, so last episode, I mentioned about possibly starting a new segment called "What's in Phoebe's Algorithm" for my social media, and I like kind of like the food segment and the music segment, which I don't think I've done a music segment in a while, but kind of like my food segment and music segment that I don't do all the time, but I throw in there. That's kind of be this one. But I got to throw it in there because in my algorithm, you guys, things just pop up. I don't know. I don't know if it just changes weekly, bi-weekly, or every other week or something. But lately, it has been, particularly in my Facebook one, photoshopped photos. So you guys know those posts where somebody posts something like, "Hey, this is me. Can you guys either make me look more professional, or can you take out this person, or can you add that or move that or whatever?" And then I guess the internet goes to town and they choose to Photoshop it in some way. Sometimes they'll Photoshop it in a, like silly way. Sometimes they'll do exactly what the person asked. Sometimes they'll go above and beyond. And I don't know what it is, but that has been on my Facebook. And I don't know what it is, but I click on it every time. It will even be just the most random, like just someone smiling, and they're like, "Hey, can you make this a professional shot? Like, change the background." And I will go and check out the comments, because the comments are where all the like the Photoshop photos are. And I just get a kick out of what different people do. Like, and then my favorites are the ones that like do what they ask, because it looks really cool. I'm like, wow, like it's amazing, y'all. It's amazing what you can do with some good Photoshop. My mom actually showed me a tangent, showed me, we had taken pictures. Oh yeah, going back to Huber's. So my husband and I, we had took a couple of pictures with our ultrasound at Huber's. So anyway, that was the farm I was talking about, that we went to a couple of Sundays ago. But we had went to, while we were there, my mom had taken pictures, and she sent me this picture. She's like, "Hey, I removed the car in the background." And I was like, "What? How'd you do that?" And she did that with her Google Photos and like this magic eraser thing, which I had heard about, but somehow still kind of fascinated that you can do that, like that you can just take things out of your picture that you don't want there. That was like cool that she did that. So she showed me how to do that. Showed me how to take the things out of your pictures that you didn't want. So I did that with a couple of pictures, but like not very well. Like, and like I said, it was just push that and it'll remove the car, or push that, it'll remove the light post or whatever. But anywho, so these Photoshop photos are just wild and crazy. And it was almost like, man, I wish, especially y'all, look, especially since, I am, gaining some pounds. And it's so funny. Everybody's like, "This is part of it. You're having a baby." I'm like, "Y'all, the baby right now is like 1 ounce. Like, what's the rest of this coming from?" No, I know. Trust me, I know. There's more to it than that. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, maybe there's a way I can, Photoshop my face to be a little small. I didn't, y'all. I can't. I don't got time for that. But it's pretty cool what you can do. And you guys know, like, celebrity people do it all the time, right? And sometimes I wonder, just how much cooler could I make this photo? Like, even if it's just brightening it or things like that. Like, there's the basic stuff that you do, the brightening, which is just like base. I mean, this is skill level one. But the brightening, the saturation, what's the one? What's it called? Vignette? Is that where it like goes dark at the sides or whatever? Changing all that stuff. That stuff that I do currently with my photos, but I have not gotten into the Photoshop realm quite yet, but that would be kind of cool, honestly. It's cool to see. It's like there are some really great pictures that we've taken that I just know could be enhanced. And I just wish I could do it myself. Like, of course, I could always send it, but it's usually just like a picture or two, like, "Oh, I just want this one to look amazing." So I really got to figure out how to do it myself. That would be awesome. Maybe it's like a program or something. I mean, I guess there's just like Adobe Photoshop. I think I downloaded Adobe Photoshop once, but then couldn't figure it out or something happened. I don't know. But so if you guys know any good Photoshop easy, free apps or whatever, holler at me, let me know. Send me a message or just to chat with me about what those could be. And yeah, so that's what I've been seeing on my Facebook page, enjoying those, enjoying the comments. You guys know, with like any reel and stuff, the comments, usually make it. Like if you see something interesting, it's fun to go to the comments. Now, sometimes comments will disappoint you. But like with things like that, those are pretty fun. And the other thing that's been on my algorithm has been kittens and cats. Yeah, I think it's because you guys remember I talked about, maybe it was the last episode of the episode before that, where my pastor was joking about small groups and how like nobody would want to do a cat one because nobody likes cats. But then he was joking about doing a cat one. And I was like, I'm going to do a cat one. Y'all, I think the phone heard me because I've been seeing cat reels like crazy lately, like all kinds of cat reels. We've moved on from cow hooves and we're now into cats and the crazy fun things that they do, from kittens to like all kinds of things. And then, you guys, I found myself watching crazy things. Maybe this is part of my pregnant brain, but I watched literally, you guys, this 30-minute video on this cat giving birth to like 10 kittens. And I'll admit, like my face was semi like disgusted looking, like like just picture a very disgusted looking face, but I couldn't stop watching. I was like, oh my gosh, she just had another kitten. Oh my gosh, she just pushed out another kitten. Y'all, I know, trust me. I mean, but y'all know I am one of those who likes to watch like Dr. Pimple Popper videos. I know, trigger warning. So I've seen these cat videos. I get hooked on the like animal rescue ones. I've been seeing the little grooming videos. That's been in my algorithm. So let me know what's been in your algorithm. Anything crazy, anything fun. Yeah, I get curious as to how things get picked. Like what did they pick up on? What did I click that like got this in my algorithm? And y'all, it sometimes when I accidentally click on something, I'm like, oh no, I didn't mean to click on that because all of a sudden you're going to see more videos like that, more reels like that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But anyway, um, one thing I did find on YouTube, and this is just kind of connected to my social media, which I was surprised that I watched. So y'all, going down the rabbit hole of YouTube, just like I somehow managed to find myself watching a video of a cat giving birth to 10 kittens. I also found myself watching a video on, literally the title of the video was how to properly load a dishwasher. I was like, uh-huh. Like, why am I watching this? And yet I watched the whole, I think it was 5 to 10 minutes long video on how to properly load the dishwasher. And come to find out, I think I am doing it correctly. Um, Other than he did say, a tip, don't overload your dishwasher. And that is something that I think that I do, or at least something that my husband comments on that I do, is overload the dishwasher because I am kind of like, okay, if I can squeeze it in there, it should be able to work. Like that should be able to work, even though I do understand that water has to get in there and all of that. But somehow I watched that long video. And then I, on my Instagram, somehow got into a reel where I found this guy's page who he interviews kids, kind of like, do you guys remember that show from back in the day called Kids Say the Darndest Things? Now, I grew up without a TV, so the only time I really remember watching it was like when I went to my grandmother's house. So I didn't watch a ton of episodes, but I remember watching it and enjoying it as a kid, which is kind of funny, watching other kids and being like, oh, that's great. But I did enjoy watching that and listening to that. And this guy on Instagram, he kind of reminded me of that because he was interviewing kids. And one of the interviews he did, the little guy was like, I've written 2 songs, and those songs were just, one of them he sang, and it was so basic, it was so cute. And the other one he said, I forgot, but I can sing you another one. Like I can make it up as I go. It was so funny. But that reminded me of when I was a kid, and I remember writing songs. I was like, is that just something kids do? Like they just make up their own medleys to things? Um, Melodies, I should say, not medleys, but melodies to things. And I remember in 5th grade, this is when I lived in the apartments, and I had a friend, a bestie in the apartments, and we came up with this song one night when it was about to storm. It was either just about to storm or it just ended raining and storming, and we were outside, and we came up with this song that went like this, right? And this is hilarious because this is basic kid song. It was lightning peeks out at you wherever you are. Lightning peeks out at you wherever you are. And then the person would go, ah, and fall to the ground because that was them getting hit by lightning. And the other person would go, ah, and fall to the ground. And then we'd roll down the hill. And that was it. That was it. Lightning peeks out at you wherever you are. And that, for whatever reason, that was our song. And we would sing it. And I remember we sang it like kids, they can do things over and over and over. So we sang that song over and over and over. Um, and so, yeah, that was our song, Lightning Peaks Out at You Wherever You Are. I remember singing that. And then I remember a song, I think I came up with it, I don't know, maybe middle school. And it's part of I guess some part of me has always enjoyed outside in the nature and the beauty of God's nature and appreciating, what he's done. And so the song was called, I don't even know, obviously it didn't have a name, but all it said was, "It's a beautiful, beautiful morning out here." And that's all it was. You'd repeat that. "It's a beautiful, beautiful morning out here. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning." And that was it. Like, the most basic things. But that's stuff like kids come up with. Like, they come up with their own thing, their own little tunes. Like, it's precious. And so I'm wondering, I'm like, do all kids, do they all like music? Like, do they all come up with their songs, or is that a personality thing? Like, I don't know, because my sister, we have different personalities. She's more introverted. So I'm gonna have to ask her, like, did you ever come up with a song ever in your life? But maybe she came up with like stories and things, because she's an introvert. I don't know. I wonder how, yeah, how kids, I guess kids have outlets for their creativity. And I guess it presents in different ways. I would say that. So I wouldn't say that all kids maybe come up with songs, but I do think all kids in some way, until told otherwise, find ways to like let out their creativity. They find an outlet for it. And so anyway, I just thought that was so cute. And then, like I said, it triggered that memory of like, I came up with a song once, and y'all, part of my voice, y'all know I can't be singing on this stuff. The only time I can really sing is when I'm singing for Jesus at church. Okay. But yeah, so I thought that was too cute. So that's been the segment, What's in Phoebe's algorithm this week. If things change, if they get interesting, I'll keep y'all posted. Not that y'all really care, but if you're listening to this and you guys talk about it, watch out. Otherwise, you guys might end up with the same things in your algorithms. And wouldn't that be interesting? But I do have a quick food segment, and it's I think, has it been a little minute since I've had a quick food segment? I think I've talked about food, but I don't know that I've had a very specific food segment. But I wanted to talk about, just real quickly, Fazoli's. I know, isn't that like a name of a restaurant you just hadn't heard of in a while? Fazoli's. And it's like, oh, is Fazoli still out there? It is. How was it? It wasn't bad. Like, it really wasn't. So it was one day after school. Once again, I was hungry, and I was trying to, I was like, you know what? I think I'm feeling like some spaghetti, some baked spaghetti. So I went there and I got baked spaghetti with meatballs. I will have to say, the baked spaghetti was good. The meatballs were not. They tasted kind of like frozen meatballs that had just been warmed up, and they weren't probably as warmed as they should have been, and they just didn't seem as cooked as they should have been. So the meatballs, they wouldn't be the way I'd go. But the baked spaghetti part actually tasted pretty good. They had really good breadsticks, which I remembered from before that they had good breadsticks, and they were still good, very buttery, very garlicky. So that was excellent. And they had, I also got their, what was it called? Like their cheddar bites, which, you guys, ooh, okay, out of everything I got from Fazoli's, those were it. And I love cheddar bites from different places. These were it. They were, I don't want to say greasy, but they were greasy. But they were greasy not with grease, maybe, but with the garlic and the butter. And then they had like Parmesan crusted, sprinkled on top or something. I don't know. And then they gave you the choice to either have your dip in like the red sauce, or the marinara. I was like, what's that red sauce? The marinara. Or they gave you the option to have it in the Alfredo. And I first was like, oh, just give me the marinara. Like, I like that, the dichotomy of the taste of the cheese and then the sauce, like the tomato. But then I was like, you know what? I'll try the Alfredo. And I am so glad I did. Y'all, if you have not tried it yet, try like cheese bites, but with Alfredo sauce. Like, it's another level of good. I really enjoyed it. So shout out to Fazoli's. It was much better than I expected. I still paid sit down restaurant price for it, I believe. Like, I still spent quite a bit of money, but I did get breadsticks, the cheddar bites, the baked spaghetti, the salad, and I didn't eat it all in one sitting. I was able to save some for lunch, so it ended up being pretty good. I would go back. I'd probably, like I said, I wouldn't get the meatballs again, but I might try something different. Maybe their Italian sausage, to see if it's a little different. I don't know how. I don't know if their meat is fresh or like frozen, for real frozen, and then just warmed up. And maybe that was just the one time that maybe they didn't warm it up as it should have been or whatever. I'm not saying it wasn't cold. I won't say that. It was cooked. It just flavor it wasn't there. But the rest of it was pretty good. And the Alfredo sauce was pretty good. You guys know Alfredo can sometimes be very bland, if not seasoned like properly. So the Alfredo was actually pretty good. So I think I'll go again. Maybe I'll try the actual like Alfredo pasta and see how that is, to see if it really does translate very well into that. But yeah, so it was funny because it was kind of a forgotten place. Like, and that makes, I'm like, what other places have I forgotten that exist that might be good here, like years later, actually might be kind of decent, that I have to try since I'm so interested in food lately. So anyway, that's my food segment. And then I'm wrapping up. Just, I wanted to share that I did listen to the radio one more time in the last couple of weeks. And you guys, again, I only listened for maybe like 20 minutes, like just on the way to work. And I heard and I was inspired again. The guy on the radio, they were sharing, it was like Good News Tuesday or something, where they try to share good news. Cause y'all know, like, news can bring you down real quick, real quick. Headlines can do that to you. And so they were sharing how there was this construction guy who had used his truck to um, dump like dirt into this little boy who was nearby, fascinated, into his little Tonka truck. And I think it was a story I've heard of before, but I was reminded of it then. And the point that the guy was making was how, like, of course, how cute it is that the little guy, had his little Tonka truck filled with dirt, but how awesome it was that someone created a moment for someone else that they won't forget. And I was like, I love that. Y'all know I love that kind of stuff. Like, I'm anything that can like take you out of the mundane, take you out of the ordinary, and just kind of get people to just like have a moment, and a good one, right? And not a bad one. Please don't create bad moments for people, but creating like a good moment for somebody that it either makes their whole day or even just brightens them, like just brightens their life. Something that they won't forget. Like that little boy probably will not forget that, depending how young he was, but he may not forget, that one time where that big old truck, helped me with my little toy truck. Like, that's cool. That's fun. And so I love that. It was just a reminder for me to still look for ways to create moments for people, ways to smile. Y'all know that I always say the easiest thing you do is smile at somebody, right? But to just continually think about other people. I'll reference my book again, as I always do. Listen, love, repeat. Find ways to make a difference into people's life. And I love that. I needed the reminder for myself. You guys know sometimes it's so easy to kind of get stuck in your head and stuck in what you need and what you want and how tired you are and how nauseous you're feeling and all of those things. But it really does make a difference when you think about other people, and it really does, make you feel better. Honestly, it does. So I'm going to continue to try to practice that. What I would love to do is in the next episode tell you about how I created a moment for somebody, but we'll have to see if that happens. Hold me accountable. But yeah, if you guys have ever created moments for someone that you're just like, hey, and it's not bragging, like it's not, you're just sharing ways that you created that possibly we can maybe do for someone else, or just share the good news. Like, I would much rather hear that than hear about something negative happening. So please definitely, hit me up on Instagram, send me a message, share away, share it to a friend. You don't even have to tell me. Just about a way that you created a moment, or a way someone created a moment for you. If you're like, I don't know if I can brag like that, but if someone did that for you, do that. And I had a friend who, she created a fantastic moment for me this past weekend, and I'll probably share that in the next episode. But yeah, so I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. You guys, in September, I'm so excited. I'm having a baby. I'm so excited. You guys are still here. I'm so excited. I love it. So yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing next couple of weeks. I hope you find something worth celebrating, whether it's the golden rays of the sun or a moment that someone created for you. I hope you guys really enjoy the next couple of weeks. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in a little bit.